Hi everyone. Well, here we are again, back in lockdown. It's a bit like deja vu, isn't it? A bit like we've heard and done this before. We're looking at the prophecy of the birth of John the Baptist, and when we read about the announcement to Zechariah and Elizabeth, who were getting on a bit, it's a bit like deja vu again, because we've heard a similar story a couple of times before in the Old Testament. In Genesis, we have the story of Abraham and Sarah, who were also getting on in years and had no children. God had spoken to Abraham and said that they would have a child. In fact, Abraham's descendants would be as many as the stars in the sky, God said. But time went by, and there was no sign of this baby. So what did Abraham and Sarah do? Like many others, they took matters into their own hands because of a lack of trust and belief. And instead of waiting on God's promise, they decide that Abraham would have a descendant by Hagar, one of their servants. And so Ishmael was born. God told Abraham that his promise still stood, that he and Sarah would have a child. But there was still some doubt in their minds, maybe. They were visited by 3 strangers who told Sarah that she would have a baby by this time next year. But Sarah just laughed. There are connections between this story and others in the Old Testament, with the story of the announcement of John the Baptist's birth in the New Testament. And it seems as though Luke may be pointing to the beginning of a new era. As with the birth of each of these characters, the fate of Israel was about to change, and God's promises were about to come true. And in each case, the giving of a child to a barren couple was about far more than the couple and the baby. God intervened, and it led to the birth of a child against all odds. None of these people were absolutely perfect, but when God promises, he brings fulfillment, and for a purpose, that we may all know God's commitment to his promises, even when Abraham and Sarah and all of humanity are not faithful. But God is faithful, and God gives us hope. There's a lovely song by Stuart Townend, "There is a Hope," and it goes part of it like this. There is a hope that lifts my weary head, a consolation strong against despair, that when the world has plunged me in its deepest pit, I find the Saviour there. Though present sufferings, future's fears, he whispers courage in my ear. For I am safe in everlasting arms, and they will lead me home. So, bye for now. Keep strong, keep safe, and keep hopeful.